All right, you already know we back again with another one. Today we're gonna be talking about life. I mean, all the videos we talk about life, but this is for you if life is hitting you especially hard right now. You know, whether you're young and whether you're old, like whether you're middle aged, doesn't matter. Life hits everybody hard, And like I felt that everybody feels that. But everybody feels it from a different perspective, a different point of view. Some people are in better positions than others, some people are in worse positions than others. But one thing that everybody shares the same when life is fucked up, it's the same fucking feeling. All different positions, but the feeling stays the same. So the feeling is kind of like its own position in and of itself. Kind of like when people say we're in the same boat. But you can be in the same boat with somebody but be on two different planets. But let's get into it. So first thing is to analyze like what exactly is so fucked up right now about life. Is it money? Is it your girl? Is it family? Is it your car? Is it work? Is it all of the above? Is it a mixture? You gotta sit down as a guy, as a man, and really like observe and think about these things, because running from your problems don't help. The best way to deal with your problems is to face them head on. At least then you can tackle it and you can do something about it so that like a year from now, a week from now, you'll be thanking yourself that you did that. This channel is pretty much all about confronting yourself now so that you can be thanking yourself, so that your future self will thank you. Um, One big thing, when life is getting you down and you're in the dumps is to get out of the house. You know, Staying in the house often does the opposite effect of helping. Yeah, I know maybe you're broke, maybe you ain't got no cash right now, so you don't really want to go out because that means spending money. But I don't mean go out like spending money, go out having drinks with your friends or whatever. I just mean going out for like a walk, go into your community center, go play some ball, like do whatever activity, like just that just brings you some form of joy, even if it's like the tiniest bit, even if it's just going with friends, and just going for laughs or like fucking around. But this is the other important thing too, is you want to have the right friends around you. If you're the type of person that just got out of like a fucked up friend group where everybody was doing like wrong shit and you're kind of trying to stay inside, then maybe it is best for you to stay inside or go out and seek new friends you know you can also find friends on the internet. You have apps like Bumble and all of that shit where you can find people with simple, similar interests. I don't really use it, so I don't even know why I'm recommending it to you. But I'm just saying, for example, you know, um, yeah, you can do a lot of things even if you're broke. Just go outside, go for a walk, get some fresh air. That puts you in a different headspace. First of all, it's not gonna fix your problem, but it'll put you in a different mind space, right? Um, Next up, just like the last video I was talking about, change the music that you're listening to. Sometimes your music has a dramatic impact on your mood. Sorry, not sometimes. Most times, your music has a super dramatic impact on your mood. If you're feeling down, depressed, if you're feeling like anxious, or if you're feeling like scrubbed or like broke or whatever, you gotta change the music that you're listening to. If you're listening to music, like rappers are rapping about making like X and X amount of money and whatever, like that's not good music to listen to, especially if you're broke. I used to do the same thing, when I had like zero cash, you'd hear me listening to rap music about man's making like 10 bands in a day, like, a million a day. Like, I don't need to hear that when I'm broke. It just makes you look back at yourself and look at yourself in like a smaller position or look down on yourself or pity yourself, and that's the last thing you want to do. You need to realize that there are people out there who really do got it and try to make music so that other people can feel uplifting. Plus, most of the time, these videos, these songs, most of them are cap nowadays. Only a few people are about what they actually say. So stop listening to music that's going to hurt you rather than help you, because music can help or it can hurt, or it can just be something you listen to. But the lyrics and the content and the context like really have a dramatic impact on you and your mood, right? So if you're gonna listen to like rap music, maybe start with rap music and then transition into something more like uplifting, upbeat, you know? You start with like some street rap, then you can go to like a street rapper, then you can go to like you know, switch from that to like modern, sorry, not modern, to like old school music, and then switch from old school music to like I don't know, some like cross between that and like reggae, and then switch fully to reggae. Being a good DJ is about mixing in the songs, you know. You can't just go from rap straight to reggae, straight to pop. Like that sucks, you know. But find a good transition if that's what you're into or whatever, you know. Anyways, um, own up to your own problems, you know. A lot of these problems that we're facing, whether it's money wise, whether it's girls wise, whether it's like, you know, like work wise, we're the ones who put ourselves in that situation, you know. You got to own up to that. If you don't own up to that, then you can't grow from there, right? Then you come out of a situation in the same position that you were, which is going to put you in that situation again. But you got to always learn to own up to your own situation, own up to whatever is fucked up in life. Be like, yeah, I did that. And that's because of me. You know? Even if somebody did it to you still allowed it to happen to yourself, right? So you still gotta own up to that. Some people are like so quick to dodge blame. It doesn't matter if you're not the person who did it. If it's your life, your situation, for all intensive purposes, it happened to you, you're the person that's responsible, anyways. You know, like you can, if you have a kid and your kid does dumb shit, like your kid, you didn't do it, but you're still responsible for your kid, right? So you're responsible for your own life, right? Even if you're not the perpetrator of certain actions, you know? But yeah, own up to your shit. That's the first step to moving on and not making the same mistakes twice, you know? Um, don't worry about problems too much. The more you worry about problems is the more stress you feel. And this is the crazy thing is you can have problems and not be stressed, and you can have problems and be stressed. Stress is a problem in and of itself. Problems don't bring stress. You worrying about problems brings stress, anxiety, and depression, right? And you worry about problems when you don't have, when you first, when you don't own up to them. Second, when you don't see them for what they are. And third, when you don't make a plan to get yourself out of it. You can't make a plan if you don't own up to it and if you don't see what it is, what if you don't see it for what it is, right? So that brings on stress. When you avoid things and put things out of the way, like your problems and your whatever, you're gonna stress yourself out because you have to own up to it. You have to see it for what it is so that you can tackle it, right? It's just like when you're playing football, you know, you gotta acknowledge your opponents there. You gotta see them for what they are, and you gotta go head on. You know, whether you win, whether you lose, it doesn't matter. As long as you come out a better person on the other end, or you or you go for another try, go for another shot, never give in, never give up. That's what matters. So stop stressing. But you can only stop stressing if you acknowledge things and you start with a plan. Plans immediately relieve stress, alleviate stress. Like, you know, it's the perfect countermeasure. Yeah. So Bruce Lee once said, prepare for the worst, but pray for the best. Make a plan, tackle your shit head on. Whether you got problems with money, with finance, whatever, the best thing you can do is create a plan and create an exit strategy for yourself. So instead of looking at where do you start now, look at where you want to end up, you know? So if you have like a lot of bills and a lot of debts to pay, look at yourself like, you know, like say, okay, I want to be the person that's paid all of this. Okay, start at the finish line and work backwards. Okay, I want to be the person that's paid off all this 20K, 30K debt. Where do I start? Oh, maybe I'll start with the smallest debt, right? And I'll go from there. Or you know, like you got to plan your life out. I can't give you examples, honestly, because I don't know your situation. But either you start from the smallest to biggest, you start from the end game and work your way back to where you are now, but you got to plan for it. And not only do you got to plan for it, you got to also anticipate that shit's still going to get more fucked up on top of your plan, right? You got to plan for your plan because more often than not, no plans go as planned. So, you know, so you got a plan that your plan's gonna fail and that you're gonna need a second plan to back up that plan. So if you're planning to get yourself out of debt, you gotta plan how to kill that debt, but then you gotta expect that halfway through your plan, another debt's gonna come in. And you gotta plan for that. You gotta make a contingency plan for your plans. You know, it doesn't matter what it is, right? If it's work and you have this thing due, you got to plan to get it done by Thursday. But guess what? Something's gonna throw a wrench in the plan. So you got to plan to have it done. If it's due Thursday and you plan to get it done by Wednesday, get it done by Tuesday, right? You got to be super proactive with your life because you are the person that's in control. So like playing a video game, like you're playing GTA, you control the character, right? But you don't feel that way because you as the character live in the same host body that you control, right? But you gotta make plans for plans, You can't, you gotta plan for every worst case scenario, every situation that you didn't expect. Otherwise, you're screwed if you only have one plan. Think about it. You're screwed if you have no plan, right? You're screwed if you only have one plan, but only if you have like two to three plans to back up your original plans can you then say, okay, I have some leverage, I have some leeway, because if somebody throws me a curveball, they don't know that I had a third arm to catch that curveball or whatever, whatever the fuck. I had like two bats, I came prepared, you know, like people are going to throw you curveballs in life. That's just natural, you know. Um, yeah, Next thing is you want to fake it till you make it. I know it sounds a little bit corny, but it really is in your head up here, right? If you're broke right now, if you're poor right now, if you ain't got no girls, you ain't got no game, you ain't got nothing, you gotta fake it till you make it. You gotta act like you have it, right? Until you actually have it. It's gotta be, it's, what I'm saying is it's gotta come from inside, right? I'm not telling you to fake shit, like go and have a fake life, live a fake life, buy like, like fake jewelry and pretend and whatever. I'm saying inside, you gotta tell yourself every single day that you are it until eventually people start seeing, damn, and you become it. You're not going to believe it until you start making progress, but even the smallest amount of progress that you make can help you start, like believing these things, understanding these things more, and believing in yourself more. But you got to fake it till you make it, or believe in yourself until people believe in you, you know? Yeah, like whenever like my, like anybody like my nieces and nephews say, "Oh, I don't believe I can do this," blah 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 blah. I always tell them, don't believe in yourself. Believe in the me that believes in you. So if you don't believe in yourself, believe in somebody who believes in you because they believe in you. You know. So yeah, that leads into my next point. When you're poor, act rich. When you're rich, act poor. It doesn't have to be money wise. You can be healthy, and like health is a form of wealth. Like options is a form of wealth. Being able to do whatever you want. Security is a form of wealth. Like having family around you, having a good network is a form of wealth. So when you're poor and when you have nothing, money wise, family wise, social wise, you gotta think that you're rich in your mindset because eventually you're gonna become it, right? If you keep on thinking that way, right? And then when you actually have it, you kind of gotta do the opposite. It's just funny how life works. You can never sit in one place. You kind of have to be in the ebb and the flow constantly, you know? Um, Closing up now. Um, don't ask for shit to get easier. Don't ask. Don't ask for life to get easier. Don't ask that you wish you weren't in this situation. Don't ask that, you would wish life wasn't so hard. Don't ask for those kind of things. Ask to be a stronger person, you know. Don't ask that the weight of the world wasn't so heavy. Ask for broader shoulders to be able to bear it, you know. It's a little bit stoic and it should be, you know, but don't seek for things to be easier. Seek to become a stronger person that can handle these things. This grows you personally. This develops you as a man. This develops you in every form of, in every single way. It lets you stand above and rise above. And it also helps you achieve your goals while putting you in alignment with other goals and other things you didn't even know you wanted to achieve. So don't ask for shit to get easier. Ask for it to be harder, if in fact, but also ask for yourself to be stronger and to be able to endure, right? And my last point is probably as important as the other ones, and that's stop comparing yourself to other people. The more you compare yourself to other people, the more you think you see someone's lives and compare your life to their life, is the more problems you put yourself in and the more you set yourself back. The next time you see your rich homie or your rich friend who got shit and you're like, damn, I wish I had that, you just worry about you and you just be grateful that you have the life that you have You had the people that you grew up with. And even if you didn't have none of that, you can look at yourself and be like, I'm going to make something of myself. And my story will be what I have. That will be me in essence. A lot of people who are born into rich lives, or like really wealthy, really famous, they don't have any essence or anything inside of them. They don't have any substance. If you were born from nothing, then you've had to struggle, then you have the substance. Your substance is worth what is worth way more than whatever they can offer. You know, down the line, you got to think long term. Your substance, that's what makes you who you are. You know, like a lot of cats that I know, a lot of guys that I know, like when you have substance, like you are able to, like pull girls, like get girls without even having money. Like it's easy. It's like bread and butter. You don't need all these fancy things that, like society wants you to believe. Don't believe in society because society always wants to compare you to other people. Don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to yourself. Compare you of today to you of yesterday, you of last month. And that's why you always got to be grateful and wake up saying thanks for this, thanks for this, thanks for that. But yeah, I didn't want to make this video too long. I'm gonna close out here. Um, Tomorrow I'm gonna release another video, but stop comparing yourself. Focus on your shit. Acknowledge the mistakes that you've made, and keep on working on yourself, dog. You got it. That's how it do.